for today, let's go into publish a web form. Here on our web forms is kind of a similar UI on how to send documents. We will be able to select the group where we belong or where we want to send our documents. We have the web form name, and this part is a little bit different from the last part. So web forms are basically forms for people to get access into it automatically. So we don't have to basically send any email to them. However, we don't know the email of this person because maybe it's just a link or an icon on your web page, and when your recipient clicks on it, it will get directly to your form so they can start the signing process of it. So we have the participant role. It could be a signer, an approver, an acceptor, or a form filler. Yet again, we have the option to make authentications. We have the password and the KBI. Remember to share the password somewhere in a secure place so they can access this document in order to sign it. And the KBA, the knowledge-based authentication, is for US only. Then we have the counter signers, which is optional. So let's say, for instance, I am the signer. However, this document must be approved by you, Alfredo. So here you will place you will be an approver. In this particular case, we have because you have to approve this document, and then we place the email of the person who is going to be providing the approval for this specific document. The same goes here for let's say maybe Holly needs to sign this document, and then we will be needing any other countersigner on our side. This will be completely automatically. You don't have to do anything while the participant signs this document. So basically, once this document is signed by the participant, it will go directly to you, Alfredo, and then to Holly. So basically, you don't have to do anything. So we have one countersigner. We can add ourselves as countersigner. Again, we have the authentication methods, password KBA. We have the carbon copies email. We can automatically send copies to any specific email. And here we have the files. And here we have templates that we can use in order to send our documents. We can use the recent templates, all our template library. Again, we can use our cloud storage from Adobe, Box, Dropbox, Google Drive, and OneDrive. For this specific case, we're going to be using this one. Again, this box from here is for you to create the password after this document is saved. So if you want to open after you download this document, you will have to type in the password. So again, it's going to be a little bit repetitive, but people tend to forget that they have to share this password. So don't forget to share the password with the recipients. And these language recipients is how they will look at the email that they get when they get a notification that the document is signed or any instructions that they may need. So basically, if let's say you need to send or somebody from Italy and you have an Italian maybe business, you can just choose this one, and everyone from Italy or that knows Italian will be able to have all the instructions from Adobe in their own language. We do not translate the document, so it will be only the instructions so they can know what they have to do exactly on the document. Again, we can preview and add the signature fields. we know that there will be a signer and two countersigners. And then we have all the signature fields that we may need because it's a template, what we are currently using over here. So this, the pink one is for the web form signer. This one's going to be for the second signer. It's going to be over here. Well, the first counter signer. And this one is going to be the second counter signer, which is going to be me. Let's place just a signature over here. And basically that's it. You can just yet again since from the last time we can add drag and drop any other field that we might need. So feel free to test it out to see which fields will be good for you. And if you need help with them, I can go ahead and help you out to see exactly what you need according to your workflow. So we click save. And after we click save, we have a different UI. So we have copy web form URL. So basically, if I copy this and if I paste it over here over the chat, you will be able to access to that document. So if I share this with somebody else, they will be able to go ahead and sign the document. So let's give it a try. Let's use an incognito window. Okay, there we go. This is how your recipient will look at this document. It will go directly to document in order for the signature process. And that's it. At the end, we'll be always asking your email so you can have the email notification and the copy that you already signed this document. All right. Let's get to the notification. And we confirm that this is indeed my email address. Now we have the copy from embedded code. This is actually the code that you're going to share to your web developer in order to embed this link into your web page. We have the HTML and the JavaScript over here. So basically both of them will be available for you to share it to your web developer. Once this web form is completed or created, we go to our Manage tab, which is over here. We go to Web Forms. And here we have all the web forms that we have created. We know that this one is on a draft stage, and this one is active, the one we just created. So if we need to change something over here, we click on the little shortcut. Now, please notice that the only thing that we are going to be able to change is to add more files or to delete files from the web form. We cannot change the counter signers or the password or the name of the web form. We will have to create a brand new web form from scratch in order to make any major changes. So like for instance, we need to add a third counter signer. So we will need to create a new one. Let's go to web forms. We have the right panel over here. We can disable this web form so nobody, even with the link, nobody will be able to get access to it. We can go pretty quick to get the code, so we can just copy it and paste it. We can download the PDF, report any views, download the form field data, individual files. We can share it. We can share it with a new owner, hide the web form, and add notes. If you're going to hide the web form, please do disable this before hiding the web form, because otherwise the web form will be still active and you might think that you delete it and nobody will be able to access it. So before hiding it, disable this web form and then click hide. Now you can see the web form participants. You will know that there will be an unknown participant and two countersigners, which we know who is going to be the countersigner. In this particular case, we can replace a countersigner since I am the administrator of these web forms. Now, this is an option that only happens if you're an administrator. If you are not administrator, you won't be able to change it, even though if you go over here, obviously you won't be able to change it as well. However, since I am the administrator of it, I can go ahead and change that little email from, sorry, from my countersigners. All right, so this is the web form. As you can see, it's pretty easy, fast, and actually it's pretty useful. So you don't have to be sending documents over and over. You can just share a link or embed it on your web page. If you need to search something, you can use our filters over here. It could be by all dates, last 24 hours until the last month, or you can select custom date range. Or you can place it, if you know the name or any keyword, you can place it, type it over here and search for any agreement or web form that you have been sent or any template as well. Okay, workflows. To create workflows, you have to go into your account tab, and here on the left panel, you have the workflow creator, and then you will have all the workflows on your account. Then, in order to create a new one, you have to create the plus sign here on the right corner. And here we have it, the workflow designer. So first things first, we have to create the name of our workflow. Select which group is going to be using this workflow. It could be our default group, our test group, or workday group, HR group, whatever group you have under your account, or any user under your organizations. You can set up instructions to the sender on how to use or when to use this workflow. Then we have the agreement information, the agreement name, the recipient's language, which in this particular case, you can select do not show language selector for the sender. Any general message. We have a little bit more options over here on set up a password to open the PDF. We can make it required or not. A completion deadline, or allow authoring of documents prior sending, or we can enable the authoring by default. Here on the carbon copies, we can select any amount of carbon copies. However, we can restrict that as well. So we can place this like, let's say every workflow that we're going to be sending, it has to have a minimum of 2 carbon copies. It doesn't matter who is going to be in it. It has a minimum of 2. Or we can place a maximum of participants as a carbon copy. We can actually type in the emails over here. Like, for instance, if we need to Alfredo or Holly to always have a copy of this workflow, we can just hard code the email for both of them over here. And here is the recipient's routing. So this is where it gets as simple or complicated as you wish. So basically, this is the flow that the that the system will gonna be following. So let's say that we have a first signer, then a recipient, and then another, in this particular case, is an acceptor. So we have approver, acceptor. We can actually create parallel signings over here. So as we create over here, we can create a parallel branches, and that means that these two persons will be getting the document at the same time. The same goes over here. If we want to add a signer after this other signer, we can create a new one. And actually, if we want to create a parallel branches, we can create a new one. And so it goes. As you can see, it can get as simple as a complicated we want. So we can go ahead and change the name of the recipients. Maybe this one is signer one. We can place the email of this signer. We can make it hard coded over here. Maybe this is the recipient, or mark this recipient group. This is going to be marked as a recipient group. We can change the role over here. It could be an approver, acceptor, a certified recipient, form filler, or a delegator to a signer. Remember, if you're going to delegate, it's because you do not know the email of the final signer. So for instance, you want to send a document to me, but you do not know my email, but you do know the email of my assistant. So you are going to send this document to my assistant, and then my assistant will delegate it to me so I can sign the document. So you can select delegate to signer, approver, acceptor, form filler, and certified recipient. You can select all of them. So let's use a signer. The role is going to be required and editable. That means that we can select this or leave it as it is as a signer. If we select it, we will be able to, after we create this workflow, we will be able to select this one. The authentication, we can select none because it's going to be maybe internally. If we want more for more secure agreement, we will be able to use the password, the KBA, the phone, or the Adobe Acrobat sign. But for this example, we're gonna have it like this. Pretty quick and simple. So as I was saying, we can create parallel branches. These two will be getting the email at the same time. Once this participant signs the document, these other two recipients will be getting the email notification. They will be able to sign. And as soon as they sign this document, this one will get the document and this one at last. So let's make it a little bit simple. Signer one, and maybe an approver. And this one, we don't know the email because it's going to be changing over time. It's going to be always different. And this one, we always know who is going to be the recipient. All right. Now, we have the notifications for the sender, recipient, the carbon copy, and the delegators. So basically, you can select every single notification for the sender. So everything that happens to the document, you will have a notification. For the recipients, they will always get the agreement moves to a next signer. And you can select if this document gets signed, they will get a notification. And the same goes for the agreement gets canceled. The carbon copies goes the same. The only ones that are not available for the carbon copies is basically the signer views the invitation and the agreement. The signer delegates the agreement. From the delegator signs, they always get the email notification if the agreement is signed or cancel and decline. You can actually select both of them. And here it gets a little bit tricky, but it's actually pretty simple. So The system will always ask you to add a document. However, if you do not add a document, you will be able to upload any document that you want. However, if you always need any specific document, you can use one of your templates and make it required. That means that this document is going to be always be required on this workflow. You can place any other document over here and may not be required, so you can leave it in blank as it is. And this other part is, let's say that on your document, since it's going to be changing recipients, maybe there is an amount of money that this recipient needs to pay. So it's going to be different from every recipient. So here, you can actually create pre-filled document fields on your document. So every time that you send that document, you can change or modify the amount of or the information in that field. And to start using your workflows, you go for start from library, select workflows, and you can select all the workflows over here. Let's use this basic workflow. So basically, as you can see, everything is already in place, ready for send. If you are part of a different group and you want to access a workflow that is not allowed for you, you will get this red notification, because that workflow was created for any specific group where you do not belong. Here you can see an example that this is a really extensive and a little bit complicated workflow, which has multiple signers or signatures in parallel. So as you can see, it can get a little bit complicated. And here is the field that I can actually change before sending the document. So I know that this document, or this particular case, this is an amount of money that the customer needs to pay. I can go ahead and change it as the document goes, because for each recipient, as I said before, is going to be different.